this is nice. Like, this could be, I look around and I'm like, this could be from The Lion King. That's really the kind of environment we're going for right now. Because today, the goal is to play Planet Zoo, because I'm really excited for Planet Zoo. I really want that game to come out soon, but it's not going to. We have to wait another month, and like other YouTubers are out there getting beta keys because they've, they're good, and I'm not. But, okay, see, here's the plan. We are going to turn Planet Coaster into Planet Zoo, all right? Not only because there are, like, animatronic animals and stuff in this that really lag my fucking computer out, even though it's a mega supercomputer, so it begs the question, who this game is really for? But, okay? See, I found out last time that, if there's just no way out of the park from a certain area, then all of the people that are there will just stop and wave around. And that's what we're going to do today. We are going to make a human zoo, okay? And I'm going to build, like, nice little enclosures around them and make it really decorative and put stuff inside and have, like, food bowls and stuff. And just, like, signs, like hippos. And it's just, like, a bunch of people in a hippo enclosure screaming for help. And then there'll be, like, lions. And it'll just be a bunch of people in a lion enclosure screaming for help. And we'll have a legitimate path going through so that people can go on through and see everybody. And it will be great. Okay, it's going to be awesome. I think it's going to be really funny. It's probably going to take a couple episodes to get done. And more realistically, it's probably not going to be done by the time that Planet Zoo does come out. But I'm not saying it's a well thought through plan. I'm just saying that I wanted to play Planet Zoo and I love this game. So we're going to just make it happen. Okay, so we're going to start with like this little half circle here, and then that's going to be like the main area of the zoo. We'll have like a building there, the intro stuff and like some pamphlets and things. And then I'm going to need a bunch of path systems out. And then the big problem, this is just a test right now, this path that I'm building, because we're going to need clear views of like all of the enclosures that I build from each area. And the big problem with that is I have to actually get people into a park and then get people into an area. So say I have a path here, okay, and I want an enclosure in like a square around the middle section of this path. So then I would need to build the enclosure around it, have the path coming in through, and then build probably like a roller coaster right here. Once I get people into the area, I can pause the game, delete the roller coaster, delete the paths, but I need the roller coaster and other things to actually lure people in the first place. There's always going to need to be actual roller coaster attractions and actual things that make people want to come into the park, or nobody will come. It can't just be paths. And even then, once I'm done, it can't just be a human zoo or nobody would come to tour it. So it's going to be actually interesting. We have to use a lot of the systems that already exist and then just completely abuse them and fuck them up to turn it into an entirely separate game. But I've done it before, and I'll do it again. Oh, this is maybe the most tedious task I've ever done in my life. I really didn't necessarily think too hard about how irritating this was going to be. Okay, so this is like an example of kind of what I'm talking about. I'm building like a nice zoo enclosure here. Okay, I want nice terrain. We're going to have a path go over this river here. I kind of want it to be a little bit smaller and nicer, but this is just sort of the rough layout, so I know how to build the enclosure around it and build the path system, and that is what we're going to build the entire terrain around, like some nice mountains here. We're going to put in rocks and like decorations and stuff. I don't know if I can have like glass walls for viewing in, but I can just basically say that you can see through these and that works, I guess. We'll have like upper viewing too, so probably like some raised platforms over like a mountain in the back, and that'll be like the main way to look into this enclosure. And that's probably how they're gonna have to all be, because I want them to all look like zoo fences, and a lot of the fences here are like, I want to say like gothic, and definitely would not fit for holding in a bunch of human prisoners that are going to be in our human zoo. So this is generally what we're doing, though. This is generally what we're looking at. And this is going to be basically what we're doing for every single enclosure. And then we have to get people into each one. And that's going to require building actual attractions, like I said. But so far, this has been horrible. I have to place so many of these fences. I really did not think it through. Okay, so in order to get a fence over this lake here, I had to actually close off this section and build an upper road area here with terrain, and that's what the actual land is going to go over. The path itself is going to go over like a bridge over it, but first we're going to need to now carve out under this to reconnect, and we have to carefully do this with very little intensity and very little size in our brush, and we're going to carve out under the rock to connect the two areas through the water to create like an arch here. And then we're going to have a different metal grate, and that will be a gate that comes up from the ground here to stop whatever we put inside this enclosure, hippos, lions, penguins, all of these being humans, obviously, from swimming out, like a real zoo. There has to be actual precautions. So we're going to do that, assuming I can do it without breaking this arch entirely. And then we're going to try and flatten it just a little bit so it looks a little bit more nice and flush with the rest of the environment, more natural. All right, here we go. We're almost done. We have our whole connecting archway here. I don't know how yet, but I am going to have views under the water here. I think I'm going to have to go tunnel down maybe and have like an area there with a glass wall facing into here. I think I can do that. It may be kind of difficult. Now we just need to shape out this archway a little bit more, and we can make it look pretty nice. Once we add some like rocks and like other associated details to it, it'll be pretty good. And then we're gonna come and we're gonna sculpt around in this river lake thing to make it actually look good. We'll probably have it going through other sections of the park too, so we need it to look more natural, but we have to do little areas first, just little pieces, because no matter what, this enclosure has to come over here before I can get people in it. So that part had to be done first before we actually do the environment. That's always something we can come back and put more polish on later as well. Right now, this is the main feature that we need to address. All right, now to get everything to go up this arch properly, we're really going to have to go into the advanced movement tools like this to be able to control everything properly, how we really wanted to come up the arch, because we don't want, what you see here is probably what we would have to go with, this little area, and it not only doesn't look good, it doesn't look realistic for a zoo, and though this is a joke, obviously, what we're doing here, but we do also need it to have an element of realism for it to look good. And I'm very serious when it comes to actually designing Planet Coaster parks. This will be a real thing. It will actually look good. I know I haven't done something like that on the channel yet, but this is going to be the first. And there's just a few features that we have to deal with. So I'm going to do that, and all you can really see as a problem there is that little gap area there. And I'll put a rock there, and that will help clean it up, basically. Okay, there we go. We have a real functioning enclosure now. The reason why I built it like this is not only to have this water feature here that we can carry through the park and decorate and make look good, but also because it looks very uniform, very nice, and it doesn't look completely unrealistic in the area, especially once we add like mountainous areas around it, because it would be completely flat. It actually has a part of it that goes over a natural terrain feature, and that's going to be really important when we add other details to the park, to add an element of realism to the area as we add in scenery and terrain and stuff like that. And overall, again, I don't know if this is exactly what you were expecting. This is supposed to be a joke. This is supposed to be funny, but also, in order to really make it actually impressive, to turn Planet Coaster into Planet Zoo, we have to put this level of work into it. We have to actually have it look good, and you'll probably see more what I'm talking about once I put in some scenery. So I'm going to go in, I'm going to do that, and then I'm probably going to build an attraction to try and trap people in there. And then you'll kind of start to understand what I mean. All right, so right now I've put in some remedial decoration, just as some basic scenery to help get an understanding of what's really going on here. And so we're going to have a mix out here. I think where we're starting is going to be our basic desert area. And past this path here, it's why it starts to get a little bit more tropical. We are going to go into a number of areas. And so the best part of that is going to be that we're really going to have to segment areas and divide scenery in a way that makes a lot of sense. So notice, more on this side of the mountain, we have more of the red rock, and it's going to be pushing back this direction, and that's going to be where we have some of our more central desert areas. And as we go over here, I put these two right here as a marker. I'm still carrying this path. Can I get back to just like a cursor? Okay, that works. I put these two bamboo style trees here because this river is actually going to go over back over here into sort of like a deciduous area that's going to have a lot more swampy features, and that's where we're going to have like some of the swampier habitats. I'm going to label them as like crocodile or caiman and stuff. And back over here, we'll have our safari area, and this path kind of brings you through both because we need to have a clear segmentation, because whereas this is over the river, it doesn't look too bad having these palm trees that you see in a lot of zoos anyway by the side here as we go into what is clearly a, generally speaking, desert and Sahara-esque environment. We are able to segment them up much better. Now, this is just the remedial decoration. Obviously, I don't think it looks very good at all. I would need much more terrain sculpting here. I need rocks and some terrain under this swamp tree to make it make a lot of sense. We're going to need decorations along the path. But this is the general kind of thing that I'm going to be doing in these episodes. It's not only teaching and helping to gradually build on an understanding of how to design a park in Planet Coaster, but also to show you how you can do kind of ridiculous things like turn it into Planet Zoo. Because even if ultimately, because I didn't think it through very clearly, there is no way we can turn this into Planet Zoo, no way we can actually have people in all of these habitats, no way we can actually get all of the animatronic animals we need. We'll go get a mod and get the animals if we don't have them. But even if it doesn't work out at all, we've designed a zoo in what is a roller coaster physics engine. Okay, it's amazing what you can do with this game if you actually take the time to learn the skills to help you do it. And that's the kind of thing we're going to be doing in these episodes. I know that this was kind of short so far. It was just sort of to like lay a groundwork. We'll probably do a number of enclosures in the next area. This is more kind of a walkthrough. All right. And then at the end, I'll probably make a number of comedy videos that are much closer to my normal style about them. And it'll be like, oh, we're trapping all of the people in there. How are we going to do that? In case you're wondering, how we're going to do that without destroying it, I'm going to bring up a path on a stairwell and then bring it down in here to an area that's flat right there and have another stairwell coming around it over to a coaster that's going to be over here. And that's how we're going to trap people in there. And it's why when I design areas, I do need to keep in mind that I need to leave in room to have some kind of coaster in a number of areas. Or I just need to cut out an area, save it as a blueprint, drop in a coaster as long as there's not a terrain area there. Because when you save something as a blueprint, like see here, this arch, it will not save that in the blueprint. It will only save the position of the rocks jutting out of the arch. That's the only way that it will do it. So I would just have to be able to do it in a place without terrain and then drop the coaster there and then drop back in the blueprint once I have people trapped wherever I want them to be. And I'll probably have a set space to be dropping the blueprint. And I'll probably just put a coaster here and have the path come there from whatever path section I'm trying to use. So say, if you don't understand me, say I bring in a stairwell to bring a path into this enclosure and a stairwell out of the path in this enclosure that is a queue, which will be much easier because the queue paths, I don't know if you know, are much smaller in this. You can see it's significantly thinner than the thickness of the path over here, and then have that queue go to the roller coaster. People will come off the path up into the stairwell into the area to a path that would be right there. That's probably the spot where I'm going to trap them. Once I get enough people on that spot, just delete the spot. All of the people are now inside the closure right there. They will not move. The only thing that would really make them go away is if I reload the game, I think. But we can ultimately repeat this process over and over to trap everyone that we want in all of these enclosures. And yes, it's going to be really irritating for me, but I probably won't show that part more than a few times. So you don't have to worry about it, but that's ultimately what we're going to do at the end. And that's sort of how I would do it. And then it would be obviously coming over to a coaster here. And I just won't build anything right here until last. This will be the central area of the zoo anyway. But it means I always have a safe place to build a coaster, which will bring people in. And as I build more areas in the zoo, like food, things like that, then more people will be attracted anyway, even if there's only one coaster there. I don't know if you know how the attraction mechanics in this works, you know, how you attract a large number of people to your parks, but we can talk about it when the time comes. So I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you're excited for more. I am, because I think this could be hilarious, especially at the end, once we have a good looking park and say, you know, we turned it into Planet Zoo, you know, fuck you. Haha, I did it. You know, it could be really fun. And so that's the game plan. I hope you liked it. I'm scared of birds. Goodbye.